So, greetings to you all. This is one such wonderful vacation where everybody tried to make a relationship with divine, and we are here for one another such a topic of having healthy relationships in a very happier way, and we are going to see about the science behind it. So, before starting the session, I would like to know from some of you that do you have any expectations about this session?
It's a relationship between the family members and the in the socialization process in the society.
Okay. So, any other expectation other than having a healthier relationship between the family members and in a societal way was Meenakshi ma'am's expectation. Other than that, any expectations are set here
In the workplace also.
in the workplace also? Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, within family also, ma'am.
within
Nowadays,
family.
within partner, a lot of misconception is there.
Yes,
Yeah, communication, they are not in a positive way, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
understand.
Everywhere. I think everywhere. With
Everywhere.
whomever we come across.
That's very nice. So, like a 360-degree view, you want like everywhere. I want to have a very healthy and happy relationships. That's very wonderful
And if
because
and
everything
if
is connected to us, right? Even it's a workplace or our personal or in the place where we go for some time also, they have an influence on us.
and we should learn to practice self-control. If the from the other
Self-control.
direction we are getting something wrong, we should practice self-control and try to remain calm, even if it hurts us.
Okay, that's very nice.
And also within self. So if us healthy relation within us is somewhat better, means with a sound mind and how to tackle the situation, it will improve everywhere. We can do with everywhere. So apart from that, the physiology of the ourself, and also the several signs, influence of signs in the healthy relationship, that is also maybe with the technology, as well as nowadays the technology is a big hindrance for the relationship, a betterment of the relationship, but we can say it is also the good thing, positive way of using the technology, maybe on that form.
Right. So use of technology in a relationship. Yes. So when I see that it's a positive approach or it's a progressive one, I always see relationship in a very different view. So I would like to share my way of seeing it also to you all on this special day. Let us share our views, discuss, and make it like more interactive. Somebody would like to have relationship with me face to face, you can also like on your videos if you're comfortable. Otherwise, it's fine. I have always been a teacher and I used to do a lot with Blackboard. Now in Zoom, it is black screens. But if anybody want to, because creating relationship is of different levels, right? Now you are all seeing me, so you know that how I look or how I speak, what kind of things we are into it. But when you are all like behind the screens, for me to create a relationship with through a visual way is completely like no cues. But your wonderful auditory way, yes, thank you, Meenakshi ma'am. Your wonderful auditory way, you are making a very good relationship with me. So this is where I see that relationship is not created in a one way, in a multiple way. So when I say that science behind healthy relationship, I would first like to say what I see based on this title. So when I say healthy, people always thinks that healthy is something that negate. For example, when I take the classes related to health, they say think that negation of a disease is healthy. But actually, in my opinion, it is not negation of disease doesn't mean that you are healthy. When your system is working in a very optimal and in a very nourishing and in a progressive way, then we can call you as a healthy person. Same way the relationship is, it is not the absence of conflicts or absence of misunderstanding between a people. When you are with someone, you should really feel that this person or this particular community or society or workspace, everyone, you should lose your sense of time and space in that. Means you should always like to have that along with you for a period of time or for a longer period of time. Then that is a healthy relationship according to me. That's why I have seen some people really get merged into their office space a lot. Some people get lost with their college friends, school friends, and also in the social web. When you see that in a WhatsApp or Facebook, what is actually happening is it's a new world projecting before you, right? With lot of open mindedness of relationship, we all go and do that a connection and create. So this is how I am seeing a healthy relationship is a place where you feel comfortable, progressive, nourishing, and a kind of happiness without putting into a particular box or a stress. If anybody would disagree, you can either unmute and speak, or also you can use the chat. I got a comment that give value to the relationship based on respect. Yes. So when it says that relationship, it's a ship, right? So generally it's like a bond. So you know that ship sails with the ups and downs in the tides, right? Similarly, relationship also moves in a person's, not in a straight way. If you're ECG, when you're taking ECG, if it comes a straight line, what is mean? It is dead, right? Same way in the relationship, if there is no ups and downs and no movement, and if you could see a very straight line, you don't find that relationship to be any interesting or boring. How do you find it? Do you find something more important? Oh no, same lady married for 40 years. Life is going the same way. Morning coffee, evening good night. Right? There is no something. So sometimes the ups and downs in a relationship also makes it more healthy. And when I say the science behind relationship, I'm really going to take you to the science subject which you all studied when you are young. Because I always see relationship in terms of that. So do you know how many types of people are there?
I can't understand the question. Types of people means the
Types
attitude,
of people.
the good attitude, the
Okay.
authoritative, the
Okay.
politeness, the
Yeah.
cordial, the kindness,
Okay.
gratitude,
Okay. Yeah.
helping, altruism. So,
That's very nice, ma'am. You gave me a nutshell of my psychology in a very beautiful way of one words. Yeah.
thank you, ma'am. So, which kind, so maybe someone may to write every person is unique and different in their approach. That is also,
Perfect. Because universe does not make any duplicates. I
yeah,
am very much confident with the universe.
yeah.
Right. How I started viewing relationship when I was basically an engineering student before a psychology student. So how I started viewing relationship when I was studying about autumn, right? Because atom is the fundamental or basic unit of everything in this world, right? People who believe science will not deny that. Am I right? Yes. So in atom, if you see, we always see that electron, proton, and neutron, if I'm not wrong. Don't worry, I will not make you sleep by saying the atom Bohr model and that and this, but just I will use pick up these terms, okay? So you always know that proton is something that which is always trying to give, electron is something that which is always trying to get, and neutron is a super watcher, right? Can you see the same kind of tendency in the people around you?
Yes, ma'am.
Some people always gets happiness by giving something. I have went to some old people's house. They really do not know what to give. They may not have anything also, but still they will say this saree will look very nice for you. Keep the flower and go. They will try to pluck flowers and give. They may have the last biscuit or a cake in their snacks box. Still they will try to offer you that. Have you seen that? Or even just by giving a small kiss on you or a hug on you, also they get a lot of happiness. They are like this proton kind of people. And have you seen the electron kind of people? Whether you give a smile or whatever you give them, they have a ready-made switch on and the lips blossoms to get something, right? And some people are that, if you say in a movie language, like Mitcher Daddy, right? No reaction, whether you give, you get, or anything, they just see and witness. You see a very less kind of emotion in these people. Other than these three, I have never seen people of any other category in my life. Yes. But the probability, the intensity varies from person to person. Some people have more platonic nature, some people have more electronic nature. Some people are very much neutron, even if somebody come and beat them also, they are like, yes, this chin is also ready for you. Correct? So if you want to establish a relationship, only these three people are available, but with the different combinations. You agree? What a beautiful. Out of 73 people, no one is agreeing, no one is disagreeing.
They agree.
Is it like neutronic effect with you all? Okay. I get 1, 2, 3, maybe, yeah. If I could go a little bit deeper into a people, yeah. Thank you. Many people are awake. That's a symbol whenever you try to interact, right? This is a way of relationship building. Thank you all for those who responded. Yeah. Now, this is what I meant by science, right? So, when I say it is proton, electron, or neutron, it is an individual decision to have that kind of things. Am I right? It's a particular person decides what kind of relationship they have. And also, it is a particular kind of person decides what kind of relationship to maintain with the other person or not. Right? A person is not always proton to everyone unless and until they have a kind of strong spiritual base in their being. And when they started feeling that everyone is one microcosm, macrocosm thing, then it happens. Other than that, it's not that way. Am I right? Yeah. So, what happens is every person is of in different levels when you want to establish a relationship with them. For example, if you see our sastras, they have demonstrated with the koshas. If you go for Maslow's hierarchy, need theory, or other thing in the psychology also, they have laid the triangles, right? Lower needs, higher needs, based on the hierarchical needs also. So if you could see everything, all these are inside a person at different point of time and different stage of use. Every time a person will not be spiritual, every time a person will not be career oriented, every time a person will not be also giving importance for the physical. So, relationship can be established and can be maintained in many levels. So, if you could see a newborn baby, initially the relationship is formed more with a physical connection, right? With a breastfeeding, it starts a connection of filling its womb. So, it is basically connected to the mom for its own survival needs, right? Sometimes when the baby cries emotionally, when there is an insect bite, or when the kid feels very inconvenient, what happens is the relationship goes next to the mind level. So it also would like to have some kind of comfort feeling. When you cry, you really need someone of your shoulders to lie or to lean or to write to vent out everything. We need a person. So in that way, what happens is the relationship goes from a physical intimacy level to a mind support also. And sometimes we need friends of equal IQ to solve our problems in our coding or in our classes, to teach, to solve our doubts. That is also another kind of relationship. And also some people we have relationship in terms of like satsang with a guru who could like uplift our awareness and take us to the next level also. And again, the ultimate relationship is the divine relationship where we all connect to the person. But in either of the way, if you could see that happy relationship is formed based on who you are and what your need is. It could be the same Lord Krishna. Yashodama connected with her only as a baby. Radha Krishna connected, Radhama connected with Sri Krishna only through the friendship kind of love and intimacy kind of relationship only was established. Arjuna, he connected with the intellectual needs. He connected with how to do a war, how to establish his kingdom, everything. Like a career oriented, if you want to put in the modern terms. So if you could see, each and every relationship demands certain kind of skill set or certain being of us in that relationship. So when we are trying to find a right match for that kind of relationship, then the blossom of relationship will start to come out. Okay. Now, is it going to be the same? No, not at all. How you evaluate yourself? Where do you see yourself? When I say where do you see yourself, where is your exact need is at that point of time. Based on that particular thing only, you can establish the relationship. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you have any questions till this point?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now, when you determine what is your world made up of, or how do you perceive the world, how do you perceive the relationships, determines the quality of the relationship and the intensity of the relationship. So when I say the quality and intensity, quality comes from who you are and intensity comes from what do you aspire for in a particular relationship. Before we know that if husband and wife are married, then that relationship should be whole for a longer period of time. So people who comes to me for marriage counseling, I just used to ask them one word. Can you bless wholeheartedly your child that you should live like how me and your father lived? If you're able to give that blessing to your child, it means that you have lived the best out of your relationship. So when we say that we have conflicts in the workplace or in the family or within ourselves also, what is the right way to set right? Do you have any good way for it?
Ma'am, can you just repeat the question, please?
I was asking that whenever you face some kind of conflicts in your relationship,
Yes.
do you know a best way that would assure you a growth as well as give you success?
In the form of negotiation,
Negotiation, okay.
maybe with the negotiation with the to whom we have some kind of a difference of
Or
opinion.
adjustment.
Yeah, just yeah.
Okay, say now
The
I want to
consultant,
negotiate with my little kid who is 7 months old. How will I do that negotiation?
I don't first.
ma'am, can I just
I will
view
say
of
one thing, ma'am. 7 months old kid doesn't have
7 months
any
old with such an infant who cannot speak to me back.
conflict. There will be no conflict between the 7 years old baby and
No,
you.
say like I want to really have a good relationship with that kid, okay? But the kid is often giving me a very hard time. It is not taking the food, it is not doing what it is supposed to do. Nightfully it is awake, which really disturbs me. In that case, how will you establish the relationship with the kid?
We have to adjust with the kid. Not kid will understand and and
Is
adjust.
it not that since the kid cannot communicate with us, no, you only have to adjust?
Yeah, I will say you have to adjust because the baby, infant baby, doesn't know to express anything. If they
Okay.
have some kind of the physiological issue or some kind of the
Hmm.
problem within the health condition, the babies refuse to take a milk or refuse to take the food. At the same time, they can't express whether they have some kind of the problem or paining, everything. Even till 3 years old baby, they doesn't know to express the pain or in the stomach or headache, anything, any form, even the fever. We have to find out if the baby has a fever or cold, anything. So we have to adjust, not the baby.
Exactly. So since baby cannot, okay, here we taken the chance of that. When it is 7 year old, do you give that liberty?
ma'am, a 7-year-old child would be able to communicate better.
Yeah,
of the needs to some extent. Yes, the child is able to communicate, and we have to understand that, respect the child's needs at that point of time, and give our time, quality time to the child.
exactly. 17-year-old.
He will not listen to
17-year-old
you.
children, I mean, adolescents would definitely be a little rebellious in terms
Hmm.
of their physiological changes and hormonal changes in the body. But I
Right.
think we just need to be a little sensitive to them. And if nothing works, I think we should definitely take the help of a mental health professional.
Okay. So 70-year-old, no,
Even more difficult.
even more difficult.
They are like the
I think
I live with one, so I understand that.
experience speaks, right, ma'am?
I will say they are the another baby. Again, they are
They're
coming
another
with the
baby.
baby. Yeah, we have to take
They
care.
are worse than babies. Babies you can scold, but them they will scold back.
Right.
You
So
just
what
need to be
also,
very kind to them, ma'am. You just need to be very, very kind and affectionate to them because they don't understand. At least they convey it to us saying that we don't understand what you're saying. And sometimes they need a lot of kindness. Kindness
right.
works, definitely, and
So
patience.
you mean that with age, the way they look at the problems also change, right? And hence we can also change our ways and procedure for it. But how I see is that always when a conflict arises between two persons, whatever be the age, it is an opportunity for growth. How well you understand yourself that you can fit into that and be flexible and find a solution. I'm of a opinion that never go for always you accept and agree and make it also, or never always try to bend the other person also. There should be an assertiveness between both so that you both feel that a win-win situation is established. It could be any kind of negotiation, trying to bring that balance between the both. So when you are able to see when anyway a conflict comes, what actually happens is we make a continuous effort or a very tremendous effort to make the other person understand what we are trying to communicate. Right? In that process, instead of communicating, we only talk. Just you go behind and see most of the fearful conversations you had, whether you talked in that conversation or whether you communicated in that conversation. When I say talk, I don't mind what the people are doing, just giving out the flow of words. When I say communicate, we are able to make them see the same picture which you see or the same feeling which you have to put in their words of it, right? That perception we are trying to make it up. Now, what comes here is how much you can push yourself and how much it is needed for that situation. Make that actual change ahead. So, at this point of view, whether it is 7 months or 70 years or 27 years or whatever be the thing, your sense of self determines what kind of relationship you are going to establish. For example, we would have experienced in our day to day life. When you are in a very jolly mood, your daughter who is drinking some milk dropped the ceramic glass and broke it. What kid? How many times mom is saying, can't you hold it properly? See, the tumbler got broken. If it has hurted you, what would have happened? Right? Our response, because we are in a very nice, jolly mood. We go, we take it, we say, you go away, we will clean it and we will do the things. The same thing when you are in a very terrific mood. Your boss has given 360-degree dosage or your spouse has really given you the ultimatum in the day. When this kid even split the milk, need not even break into the cake.
Tell
I will never give you the milk hereafter. How much time to say you are the one who is going to clean? Right? You're of age 10 years, your age 7 years. Can't you hold a cup properly? Don't you know if you slip like this, it will pour out, right? We just add our other emotions and streamline and target them with a rifle. So, always in a relationship, what matters the most is at what place you are there at that moment determines. If you are able to improve you, if you are able to self develop you to a certain level, then everything makes the move a different one. It's not going to be the same anymore. A relationship can be made happy, content, or a progressive, nourishing, or any of the terms based on the state which you are in that relationship. So, let not the events make you in a reactive mood. For that, your groundness to that situation matters the most. Where you are and where you are able to progress from that spot determines how well you can improve in the relationship. This is one aspect of relationship. I also have a very beautiful topic of the other way of relationship based on astrology, where I cannot really go deep because of the time, but I could say that it is always that when you know about the astrology, because you're all a psychologist, right? So most of you are. So when you already have the base for psychology, and if you are able to know little bit of astrology, the ancient science of decoding people, then it becomes more beautiful in a relationship. I was taking some kind of parenting sessions for people. I used to say that what kind of things may come from you, what would be the kid? Recently, a newborn, the mom belongs to the Pisces star, Pisces Rashi. So she is like a fish in nature, right? Very soft, timid. Cool. The kid belongs to the Leo star. If the kid cries, the whole apartment will turn towards this home. You cannot expect a lion to ting, ting, like excuse like a rat, right? That the lion actually roars. That is the kind of it. But for a fish to handle a lion, just see how much the mindset has to be shifted. When she understood this small concept, she now understood that it is better to not make the child cry slowly or when a low voice is not possible. The mind shift has to happen in the mother or in the father. So I said that lions cannot be tamed. But what is their quality? They can be easily have a very nice, sympathy feeling for the people. So that should be the key for this parent to handle that particular child. Similarly, when you know the personality type of the person whom you are dealing with in a workplace or in a family or anything, then that will determine that what kind it can move you. Instead of just don't try to approach one formula or one way to deal with all kinds of relationship. You should know to which level the relationship should be. For example, some does not even like the mom touching or patting. Some kids come and ask, can I have a hug? Some kids really feel very uncomfortable if somebody touches them. So it is that how you deal with the person and in which level they are is also a matter. Dealing with narcissist in relationship, how to handle or deal in your perspective? It's a very good question. When we are dealing it, we already know that, right? Any person has a combination of it and only the particular situation or event trigger them to behave in that. When they know that, and also if you could see, nobody can internally make you suffer unless and until you accepted that one. So what happens is not taking that relationship to that extreme and giving them the chance makes it. So I used to say to the college students initially who are suffering with a love and kind of relationship with the other persons to a level, I say that make sure your friend should be somebody should not come to support you from that. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you behave should determine the limit in the other persons. They should know like how much they can come closer to you and how much not. Same with the narcissist kind of people also. They always get happiness in the way they torture you or when they feel you got saddened with these things. Right? Just make a cover up of it. They are not even going to touch you to that limit. And everyone's behavior comes that only when that particular thing is. See, you would have been like dealing with lot of chemicals, right? Like oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin, every chemical. So brain is all about that, how much it reacts. So one time you gave to this level, the next time they're going to demand more, demand more, demand. So first, you should know where that Lakshman Rekha should be drawn to them, that limit of line. Okay? So that determines the thing. When you say as self-care is important, yes, self-care is important, and it is very important that what determines that self. Because for some family, if you take my mom, for her, the whole family is her self. She may not be trying to do anything away from it. For some, the whole society is the self, right? So, what determines yourself? Who are all the parameters of yourself? If the whole world is yourself, then yes, you are already enlightened. Anybody is any level, it gives a thing. So that, and when we say self-care also, when you consider only you as an individual and do as a self-care, it is very important that how much of your physical, how much of your mental, how much of your intellectual, and how much of your awareness and the ego level has to be maintained is also more important. For example, certain exercises, right? When you talk about body language, you cannot sit like this very hard and you cannot say that I am very humble and respectful. It does not give you that feel, right? And you cannot sit like this and say that I am not nervous, I am very bold. That itself, right? So a simple signal to your structure and your behavior also makes the matter a lot for your moves and for your things to be considered. So everywhere it reflects. It is not that you do pranayama, it's not that you do meditation, it's not that you do exercise every day. What kind of exercise? When you are doing. For example, a person who is high in vata, if they are doing in the early morning, it is not going to work for them. But for a kapha person, yes, it works. Establish boundaries in relationship with self-care. Yeah. And the boundary should be, you should know when to have the boundary rigid and when to have the boundary flexible. It's like a bamboo, right? Sometimes for the air, it should be like flexible also. If it is very hard, then it will be breaking. So the boundary should not break the relationship. Boundaries should be made to make the relationships. Yes. So I guess I'm coming to the closing time, which sir suggested me. If you have any other questions, you can put on the chat.
Thank you so much for a wonderful, very thoughtful and meaningful session. Friends, you may go ahead with your questions. If some of you have questions, you may raise your hands.
Ma'am, if you can please share your contact details.
Yeah, definitely. I
I
can
just
put
want
my
to add
email
one
number.
thing.
Yes. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
The way we deal with a 5 or 7 year old and 70-year-old, I think somewhere our patience, kindness, our attitude, our way to listen changes. Because 70-year-old baby is a baby, but it's hard to look at it like a baby. Where the
Right, ma'am.
affection
What
is way
happens to a
higher for 5 years,
70-year-old
7 year old.
person is, yeah, when we see transactional analysis, or we see in psychology, right? Parent, adult, PAC, parent, adult,
Right.
child kind of thing. In that way, what happened is the 70-year-old have a strong mindset for 50 years that you are a daughter or you are someone who does not know anything in the world. See, for example, if you take
Correct.
me, I would have been teaching 1 lakh, 2 lakh people outside the world. But if you come and ask me more, my mom will say that she's very innocent. People will easily make use of her, take advantage of her, right? Because for her, I am a child.
Correct.
Even she's
Correct.
dependent, even if she's on the bed also, she sees me from a different angle. So, how is I am perceived in her world matters the most when we are dealing with the relationship. And when it is 7 years old, when you study about the brain development of the kids, that will help you a lot. How the teenage brain works, how the little kids brain works and all, when they take with their pre-frontal lobe decisions, and if somebody knows of reading their fingerprints, right? For example, if there is a fingerprint in the hand of a whirl pattern, never try changing them, because they are not going to hear you, though you stand upside down also. But if it is a loop pattern or an arch pattern, you can try that. If it is an auditory listener, you can see like which side of their brain works much. And the opposite side, you can always give input through their right ears if their left is more auditory sense. If they are of a kinesthetic learner, you can always go touch their shoulders, pat it, or hear this spot, right? And say, do it, they maybe do. If otherwise, if they are a very visual learner, do something and show and teach them, they will do it. So it is not a once. This is what I always insist in my class, that it is not a one shoe for everyone or one dress for everyone in this world. When you cannot wear even a shoe or a dress same for everyone, how could behavior, actions, methods, food, everything could be? When you go for what is specific for everyone, it gives the most results. That's why we were cooking in Tamil Nadu and had like 6 type of taste of food. Why? Because in the family, though they are all of the same family, their vata, pitta, kapha, dosha of a person is going to be varied. So what that person has to take for his growth, for his needs. But now the whole movement has changed. We all say that we want to be very sattvic and we go for sattvic food, but we all do the rajasic works. So think how our body and mind is bringing that contraction in itself. So understanding you is the core for development. When you know that what exactly is the one that is going to make you off, on, or push, that is the golden key of the life.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. There's a lot of positive feedback for your session. And we would, in fact, be very happy to have you for more number of sessions. If you could give us sessions on parenting, it'll be very good. And thank you so much once again. Your kind permission, may I request Meenakshi ma'am, the other coordinator,
Ma'am,
to go ahead with
please.
the vote of thanks?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am, please.
thank you, ma'am. It's a wonderful interactive section. You had to give the science behind the social interaction and everything for the progress. Thank you very much. Accept the gratitude
Thank
from
you
the
so much.
American College, Department of Psychology, American College, with the different associate partner, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, Nolumbur, and Chennai, and Deccan Positive Mental Health Practitioners Association. Thank you very much, ma'am. We like to
Thank you
have
so much, ma'am.
more and more sections from you. Thank you.